Good day, everybody, and welcome to I Know You Know, your one-stop knowledge-sharing platform for all things careers, life after high school, as well as opportunities that are available to you. Thank you so much for the support that you've been showing to the channel, for sharing it with people, and for liking, commenting, and subscribing. Let us keep growing the community by continuing to share. Today's video is a very important one that's close to my heart. I'm sure every one of us has been asked the question, what are you going to study when you grow up? Or which university are you going to go to? While I'm not necessarily trying to make university seem like it's not all that. I mean, that's the route that I took. But to be quite honest, it's not the only route that is available for people to do beyond high school. And I say this with the understanding that, first of all, university remains very inaccessible to a lot of people for a myriad of reasons, including finances, marks, capacity. Secondly, there are other options that are as legitimate as university, and there are so many successful people who have actually achieved their wildest dreams without having gone to university. Similarly, there are people who went to university and have not actually been able to achieve some of their goals. So university is not necessarily a guarantee for success. The third and final reason I think we should be having this conversation is that some people legitimately do not want to go to university. And I think we should stop discussing other options as if they are a backup in case university doesn't work. Because to be quite honest, they are legitimate options in their own rights and should be assessed based on their own merits and not in comparison or as a backdrop of university being the grand way to go or path to take. So I really hope that you'll gain value from this video as I discuss 15 things that you can do after high school. Let's get into it. So the first thing you can do is go to university. University is a higher learning institution that offers undergraduate and postgraduate degrees. These can range anywhere from 3 to 4 years for undergraduate degrees and anything from 1 to 7, 8, 9, whatever, however many years for postgraduate degrees, depending on your program and what level you're on. So universities mainly focus on academic work than vocational, which means you will not get much hands-on experience from a university as you would in other options. In terms of entry requirements, it differs from program to program and university to university, but what remains constant across the board is definitely the fact that you need a grade 12 certificate to go this route. So if this is what you are trying to do, you definitely have to pass your grade 12 and familiarize yourself with some of the requirements for the programs that you're interested in. The second option is TVET colleges. TVET stands for Technical Vocational Education and Training. They have previously also been referred to as FET colleges, which means Further Education and Training. They are also a higher learning institution. However, they focus on both vocational and academic work, which means you will get some hands-on experience from a college. Their programs last anywhere from a couple of months to about 3 years. And it depends honestly on the program itself. In terms of entry requirements, they are a little bit less strict than university in that there are some programs where you can get into the college without a matric certificate. The third option is technikons and universities of technology. These are higher learning institutions that offer career-oriented diplomas and certification qualifications, or diplomas and certificate qualifications. Some do offer degrees depending on different programs. Technikons do theoretical as well as practical work, and their programs really differ, like in terms of how long they're gonna take you, depending on whether it's a certificate, a diploma, a degree, and also depending on the type of program it is and the requirements of the qualification. So they differ in terms of how long they do last. The entry requirements likewise also differ, but you definitely need to have grade 12 to be in one of these. So the above options that I've discussed, the 3 options that I've discussed, all cost money. You do need to pay to be in either a university, a college, or a Technicon or University of Technology, there are some loans and bursaries that you can apply to for these programs, and so definitely do check those out if that's the route you're trying to go. Search for whatever bursaries are available, whatever loans are available, etc. The fourth option is skills and vocational training. So some professions put more emphasis on having practical work than they do on having theoretical or academic work. It's literally, can you do this job or not, you know, and not necessarily how much theory you know about this job, etc. You can gain these skills either formally or informally, and for the formal way to do that would be to go to training centers. There are a whole range of training centers that are available for some of these kinds of jobs, and you can do some of their programs for a couple of months or a few years and then get your certification and start practicing. The second way you can gain these skills is to be self-taught. There are so many self-taught people out there in various industries who actually can get the job done. And in this particular path, what's important is whether or not you can do the job. An example of some of the programs that are under this category would be makeup artistry, carpentry, coding. Like, it's either you can code or you can't code. And some opportunities would just test your skills, and if you can do the job, get the job done, you'll get the job. You may need to pay for some of the training centers if you do go that route. Of course, if you're self-taught, you could be using YouTube videos and other resources that are around you, and you may not necessarily need to pay. And of course, you will get paid once you start monetizing whatever skill it is that you have learned. The fifth option is to get a job. I think that's quite self-explanatory. There are jobs that do not need further training or studying beyond grade 12, and so you can go and get a job immediately after grade 12. Of course, the bonus of this is that you start earning immediately, and for some people this is the best route. The sixth path is to be an artisan, an intern, a learner, or an apprentice. This is a little bit similar to the previous one of getting a job. The only difference is some professions would require you to get training. However, the training you get would be within the company. So unlike getting a job where you apply for the job and they'll show you how to get the job done and you can usually start working immediately, with this one they do have like some sort of a curriculum which could be a couple of months long, a couple of weeks. They basically teach you the skills that you need for the job. So the difference of this and other options I've discussed is that the training happens within the company and is usually company specific. With this option, you can start earning immediately. Some learnerships do give people stipends even during the period where you are still learning. And then you definitely do start getting paid when you start working. The seventh option is to open a business. This can be quite costly if whatever business you go into is capital intensive. However, it does not have to be, as there are businesses that you can go into that are not necessarily capital intensive. There are a lot of resources that you can use to help you in your journey. For example, CEDA is a government organization that is structured to help entrepreneurs, so they can even help you set up a business plan or plan your pricing model, your business model, etc. And there are also a lot of opportunities with funding. I know the NYDA is also a government organization that funds young people who are starting businesses, etc., etc. I mean, they might do other things, but I definitely know that that's one of the things that they do. The eighth option is to take a gap year. While this may not be accessible to everybody, it is an option nonetheless. Some of the reasons people take gap years is, firstly, they feel like they aren't yet decided on which path they want to go, and they do not want to commit to a particular path too soon. And so they take a gap year to figure out what it is that they want to do. There are a number of things you can do during a gap year. These include shadowing people in jobs you think you want to do. So if you want to be a nurse, you can maybe arrange with a nurse and maybe spend a day with them, see what it is that they do on a day-to-day basis, see if it's the type of work you would do and a type of job you would enjoy, etc. You can also volunteer with various organizations and businesses relevant to what you're interested in. Other people also use gap years to travel, and they do say that traveling does help them figure out what it is that they want to do, from like seeing other cultures, getting to learn a little bit more about other people, etc. And so yeah, that's one of the things that you can do during your gap year. The ninth option is to volunteer. This means approaching a business, a local business or an organization, and offering to work to them without necessarily getting compensated. Volunteering is a great way to boost your CV, as you will definitely gain skills within whichever space it is that you're volunteering in. So this would be great if you're trying to boost up your CV and trying to just learn some more skills. And what's nice about volunteering is a lot of businesses and organizations could do with an extra pair of hands without incurring that extra cost. So people are generally open to getting volunteers. Another thing you can do is work on a passion project. So if you're passionate about a particular charity, for example, you could volunteer at that charity and work there and do something that is fulfilling while gaining the skills that you would be gaining. The last plus side of volunteering is that, especially if you are dedicated and good at what you do, when positions come, you might be the first option when it comes to hiring and actually securing a job. So this would be a great way as well to, it's almost like you're auditioning for the company or for the organization during your volunteering period. And so if you are going this route, it would be great if you are dedicated and you show that you are that you think what the company is doing or what the organization is doing is important work. The 10th thing you can do after high school is to monetize your hobby. Whether you can sing or you're very good at doing your own nails, this is something that you can start monetizing and offering the service to other people. One way you could do this is, if you're a singer, you could go to a local restaurant and start performing there and be paid. If you do people's nails, if you can do your own nails, you can start doing other people's nails and getting paid for that. Another way you can monetize your hobby is to share or teach people that skill. So you could teach people how to play an instrument. You could teach people whatever hobby it is that you have. And with the advent of technology, you can even do that on YouTube. Have that channel, have it monetized, and start earning money from monetizing your hobby. The 11th thing you can do is to start selling things. There are so many companies that are always looking for salespeople and sales reps. So you can maybe get into something like that where you make a living off of selling something for a company. Some examples are your Avons, your Tupperwares, your Herbalife. You could start making an income through selling things. And while you do that, you could be gaining people skills. So sales skills as well as interacting with people. The 12th thing you can do is to tutor. You are now done with high school, and so you can actually help people that are still in high school. This would obviously work if you are passionate about a particular subject or you are very good at it. And so you could actually end up teaching people in high school about it. You can also actually teach primary school students as well. It doesn't necessarily have to be limited to high school students. And with the lockdown, there are a whole lot more opportunities to tutor people even online. And so it is definitely a path that people should consider as a way of making money and gaining skills, because you are teaching people and you can actually add that onto your CV. The 13th option is to coach a sport or teach an instrument. If you're good at a particular sport or you're good at playing a particular instrument, you could approach schools and have you be paid to teach their students the sport or this instrument. This is a very great way, especially if you are passionate about the sport or the instrument. It's a very great way to earn money because you get to do what you love while getting paid to do it. And the nice thing about this path is that it's not a full-time path. So you can literally go into a particular school, coach netball 1 or 2 hours 3 times a week, and you've made your money. Something that I did in high school was to umpire mini hockey. I was a hockey player in high school, and something that I did during high school was to be a referee for mini hockey, and I got paid for that. So that's something you can also explore and approach a lot of schools. I know a lot of schools do hire coaches, they do hire music instructors, and you can definitely offer your services to such schools, you know. The 14th option is to join the military. Now, while this can be argued to be similar to getting a job, I thought I should make special mention of it because you are actually able to study further while you're in the military, and you actually have the Defense Force pay for your studies. So if this is an option that would be more suitable to you, if you are interested in the military and you are interested in studying further, this is a possible option that you can actually look into. The 15th and last option that you can do, or thing that you can do after grade 12, is to do sports or modeling or acting. You can legitimately, based on having a talent, get paid to do this immediately after high school. Of course, you would need to audition or to go to trials, or whatever it is that it takes for what you're trying to get into. But you do have people that are full-time sports players, full-time actors, full-time models, who purely based on their talent and the level of skill they have and interest in the industry were able to get into these industries straight after high school. Some even get into these before finishing high school. So that is another option. There you have it. That is the list of 15 things you can do after high school. I am sure this is not an exhaustive list, so feel free to comment down below some of the other routes that you know of that I have not mentioned. Maybe something you did or someone you know went through that route. Feel free to mention it in the comment section down below. And if you're wondering which path you should go, I don't know, I don't have the answer. I think it depends on your interests and what resources are available to you. As you heard, some options you do need to pay for, some you start getting paid immediately, and so it really depends as well on how your life is set up as far as resources. But what I can tell you is that whatever it is that you do, expect to face some challenges. I don't think there's anything that is easy, and by easy I mean you can get into that thing and be successful overnight without putting much effort. I don't think there's something like that, otherwise that's what we'll all be doing. And so I think whatever path you go into, don't go into it with the mindset that this is the easiest path or this is the easiest route, and I will make it work. And just because there aren't a lot of requirements, it doesn't mean that that particular route is easy to go into and be successful at it. So whatever it is that you do, give it your best shot. Have a strategy for it. How are you gonna make money from this? How are you going to earn a living from this? How are you going to satisfy your passions through this? Because I think it's honestly important for all of us to start thinking around how we can bring forth our passions into whatever job it is that we do and actually have that be a thing. Thank you so much for watching the video. I will put a link of some articles that I used for this information in the description box below, so you can check them out, read further, and actually do a little bit more research on some of the options that I've mentioned and some of the options that I have not mentioned. I appreciate your support. I appreciate the fact that you watched this video, and as you know, as per our tradition here at I Know You Know, share this with at least 2 people who you think could gain value from this information. This can be anyone, literally a student, a parent, a mentor, a teacher, whoever you think could gain a lot of value from listening to this information. Please share this video with them, and I appreciate all the likes, comments, and subscribing that's gonna come from this video. Thank you so much to everybody. Goodbye.